New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. As a jury was deliberating over his fate, a Georgia district attorney on Monday pled guilty to several charges stemming from improper acts while in office and agreed to resign. Mark Jones had already been suspended from the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit District Attorney after the State Attorney General's office obtained the indictment on September 7th. It accuses him of trying to influence a police officer's testimony, offering bribes to prosecutors in his office, and trying to influence and prevent the testimony of a crime victim. Jones took office in January, overseeing the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit, which serves Muskogee, Harris, Chattahoochee, Marin, Talbot, and Taylor counties in West Georgia. After deliberating briefly Thursday and then all day Friday, jurors had indicated Friday afternoon that they were unanimous on 3 of the 9 charges, and the judge instructed them to keep working on the others. About an hour of deliberations on Monday, jurors stated that they had reached a consensus of guilty on 5 charges, but Jones had decided to agree to a plea deal. He pled guilty to 4 counts in the indictment in exchange for a sentence of 5 years, 1 year to be served in prison and the remainder on probation, and a $1,000 fine. Jones also agreed to resign, submitting a resignation letter to Governor Brian Kemp. Quote, by abusing his power and abdicating his responsibility as district attorney, Mark Jones did a disservice to those he was elected to protect and put our very justice system at risk. The outcome is a victory for integrity and prosecutions and the rule of law. Superior Court Judge Catherine Lumsden had Jones taken into custody immediately, denying his request to turn himself in on Friday. The governor can now appoint a district attorney to serve until one can be elected. Until he does, acting district attorney Shanika Terry, who took over when Jones was suspended, will continue to hold the role. The judge noted that the corruption case against Jones was different from some others. Quote, you didn't line your own pockets. You didn't do some of the things that normally are involved when we think about public corruption. But I think you got so caught up in being the DA that you forgot about the people you ran to represent. Jones pled guilty to 1 count of influencing witnesses for telling a police officer to testify a certain way. He also pled guilty to 2 counts of attempted violation of oath by a public officer for offering 2 prosecutioners in his office $1,000 each in exchange for following instructions he gave them. And he pled guilty to 1 count of violation of oath by a public officer for not helping a crime victim's nephew understand court system and his rights. Juror Leisha James told reporters after the plea that jurors had reached a guilty verdict on 5 counts. That included 2 of the ones included in the plea agreement. Jurors heard 3 days of testimony from prosecution witnesses last week. Jones's defense attorney, Katonga Wright, didn't call any witnesses, nor did Jones testify. Before the sentencing of Jones, the judge mentioned an encounter Jones had with a homicide detective outside of a downtown Columbus bar late at night. Jones was captured on body camera video saying that the officer should have charged a shooting suspect with murder instead of involuntary manslaughter. Quote, when I watched the body camera footage, all I can think was, this does not make people trust the system. The judge also stated that justice does not mean winning at any cost. If it becomes that, then we have a much bigger problem than a criminal justice system has already, and we can't afford to let that happen. 2 prosecutors in the district attorney's office also testified that Jones had offered them $1,000 even though they'd taken an oath only to accept the compensation they were due. He offered to pay one to secure a murder conviction and to pay the other to say a case was ready for trial when it wasn't. In addition to the 2 counts of attempting to get them to violate their oaths of office that Jones pled guilty to, he had already faced bribery charges for those allegations. Now pay attention, and people want to say that the justice system is not corrupt. Yeah, you got a judge that was like, all right, I'm going to take my job serious. I'm going to hold myself up to the highest standards. I'm going to do the job that I'm supposed to do, right? But you have many judges who are in her exact same position, and they overlook a lot of that because they're all in cahoots. Like I said before, you'll have some judges, the few out there, that will do the job as they're supposed to do. And then you'll have other judges out there that will decide, you know what, I'm going to take some money on the side. You know what, I'm going to work with the DA. I'm going to work with the prosecutors. We're going to, sit up there and, slide money, back and forth and yada, yada, yada. Right? There's no telling how many judges he's worked with, how many cops he's worked with, how many other lawyers he's worked with and tried to bribe, and how many other victims he's more than likely tried to coerce. He's one of many. And like I said before, when it comes to mainstream media and different things like that, they will just put these stories up there just to say that, oh yeah, we found somebody that's corrupt in the system. But if you look at everything else, it doesn't match up with what it is that he's doing, right? He's just a small variable, right, when it comes to the whole full equation, right? But the main thing about an equation is that if you have one decimal, if you have one number or a few numbers wrong, then that makes everything else about that equation wrong as well. So even though he's the one that's getting highlighted, he's a part of a larger equation that has always been wrong, but yet people try to calculate it and sum it up as if it's 100% correct when it's not. And we all know it's not correct because we see the proof of work. We see the justice system. We see the judges. We see the lawyers. We see the DAs, right? We see the cops. We see all of these individuals who are cogs, a part of this system. And they're meant to make this system, quote unquote, move and work, but it's moving and working in the complete wrong direction. And the only correct direction that it's moving in is the one that's beneficial to those who are making money off of the convictions or throwing people into jails and prisons for long periods of times. And like I said before, mirror that onto the black community and figure out what you get. And that should pretty much sum up the reason why black people, the black community, has the issues that it has with the United States, with the justice system, with lawyers, and most importantly, cops. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.